Hello. Just want to share about the very first light sign that I got through from my son. It was the 31st of October 2019, Halloween. A few months since Tommy had passed in May, and I had been setting up the room that you see me in now as my office, and I had been bringing in some of his things and my father's things he had passed to, and making the office feel like my place, my space to sit and connect with all it is and my loved ones in spirit and also the loved ones of others. So I'd spent all day bringing things in and salt lamps and plants and so on. In the evening, I intended to sit and spend that time with Tommy. And that's what I did. I came in here. There were 4 salt lamps that were lit, and I lit a candle for my father that I put over on a cabinet. On the desk where I'm sitting now, I lit a candle for Tommy. His photo was there. And at about 9ish at night or so, I began to talk with Tommy. I spent a little time in meditation first. I could feel his presence, and then I just talked. I brought various things of his to the room, and I talked my memories through of them, and I could feel his energy. I knew he was listening, and it was a beautiful time. I spent over 2 hours connecting with him, and then there's a sofa behind me. I was sat on there, and I actually fell asleep. I woke up at about 3 a.m. and came back to sit here again. And I said to Tommy, looked at his picture, the candle still flickering, and I told him I was going to go to bed. I was tired, and it had been a beautiful night, and I was so grateful for the time that we'd spent together. And then I walked over to the candle that I had lit for my father on the cabinet, and I blew it out, and I came back here. There's the salt lamps that are lit, and this other candle, I switched the lights off. The candle was the last light to go. And I still, when I think back to what happened, it was amazing. I put my hands on the desk here, leant forward, and blew the candle out. And as I'm blowing the candle out, the center light and the fan, if I just move my camera here, you can see the fan. It has a light. That light came on and flooded the room with light. And I sat there in amazement. How could it be? How could that have happened? And you know what it's like. Your mind starts to think things, logical ways that could have happened. Now that light switches on with a remote control. And when I'd been tidying the room and setting it for the night, I'd popped the remote control in the drawer, the small drawer to my right. And I started to think, this big, heavy desk that I certainly can't move on my own. But I started to think that when I put my hands on it and leant forward to blow the candle out, I had somehow jogged the table, knocked it, nudged it, and things had slid around. The few things in that desk drawer had slid around, and one had landed on top of the remote control and switched the light on. But I knew that was just ridiculous and absolutely wasn't true, and that it was Tommy. I felt it to the core of my being, and I laughed at my attempt to rationalize what happened. But it was amazing. It was my very first light sign that came through. There were many more to follow, but that one has a special place in my heart because it was the first one.